What's up? How's it going? I feel kind of silly. Whoa, my monitor just went out. I assume I'm still live. Yep. I don't know why that always happens. It always happens with my. Okay, come on, man. Really? Alright. I don't know why that happens. It always happens with my HDMI monitor. But today is Tuesday. I was gone yesterday. So I am hopping on and we will break it down. Break it down. Check out the corn. Good old corn farmer I am, eh? I almost feel bald with this hat on because my hair is so short, but hey, also I'm going to open up the chat this time because we actually got a chat last time and I didn't see it early enough to oh, really? I got to sign in to comment on it. But hope y'all are doing good. And two-step verification, of course. It is like the enemy of my whole life is 2FA. Sign in faster. No. Oh my gosh. Yes. No. Holy moly. Gee whiz. Oh, can I put this somewhere? Yeah, cool. Let's put it over here actually. Why is it so tiny? There we go. All right, so we're gonna get going on some Bitcoin. We will check out what's going on. Really, I'm not too sure. I haven't been on the charts. I do just want to really hone in that this whole model. Where exactly were we looking? I think we were in here. This whole Model 2 should have been the larger term order flow objective. And I know we looked at that, and when price came down here, we were messing around in there doing some diddle doddling because the structure wasn't great for trading, at least for me. But then we rocketed up. And it seems we have not returned to that point, and we've continued our quick move up. So you just do have to keep in mind the higher time frame order flow objective. This liquidity curve was destroyed, but we still have this one. I will go through all of these intra levels. I just want to do a quick 4-hour synapsis kind of thing. I want to look at a fixed range. All right, just remind myself where we are. We are nearly at the top of value, and guys, I really don't know how much higher we can push from. If this is value right here, I'm not entirely convinced that this is necessary to take if we were to go lower, because I remember we worked this out. I will just kind of draw it out one more time. We could come up here for an SFP. We can break this and come up to these levels. We can come back down and just wash all of this. And there are some they're not poor lows, but they're a lot of liquidity to grab. There's a liquidity curve in there. And maybe we come down and we find a bounce off of this SFP. And maybe after that we go up where we have like a Model 1. Or a Model 2 for that matter. So that's kind of like where I think price can go on a higher time frame analysis. So, but I think it is really important to note we are approaching the high of value. So I'm actually going to mark this out because I think this is something I want to remember, that And let's make this white. This is the macro range value area high, because if we just want to look at this for a second, we started the range probably right around here is where we can now determine we might be in a range. And we tried to break lower, couldn't do it. Came up, tried to break higher, couldn't do it. Tried to break higher, couldn't do it. Tried to shift value lower, couldn't do it. Found support on the value area low, which turned into the point of control, which is cool when that happens. Tried to break higher out of value, SFP'd, couldn't do it. And now we're coming back up to test that value area high again. Let's kind of note is there really a great example? I guess in here is your best example. You tried to break below value. You tried to, the composite man thought briefly that the price of Bitcoin was overvalued, so he tried to push it lower, but ultimately people came to buy here, below value, on a discount. It was pushed back up above the value area high, and then we found support on the value area low, and then we found support at that same level. So I would be inclined to believe, just because we are in range mode, whether we are ultimately going to continue ranging or not, this value area high is a great spot for resistance. Because try to break out, can't do it, support, boom. Try to break out, can't do it, resistance, boom. And I am interested to see what our lower time frames have to say about that. Let's look at our intermediates here. I know I didn't like the 15-minute last week. We'll see if that changed. Yeah, it seems as though the 30-minute is going to be our key market structure time frame trading. Really don't see a use in using the 15-minute. You get more points, but I'm really not looking to use them necessarily. I'm more looking for, just key market structure, direction, and context. So that's it. What is it, 8:30? We're blasting like it's 8:30, and it's 9:30, and it's 8:30. Oh, excuse me. All right. So that's that. We'll use our 30-minute as a higher time frame. Just to turn that off for a second and look, we had a really great reaction off of this range POC and extension high volume node. So we could check that out. This was in SFP. Do we have any other SFPs I need to mark out? Yes, quite a few. This SFP never happened, but I know this might not be the best. Oh, that's like a double bottom nearly. Doesn't seem like the best level to draw an SFP from, but it seems it was. And this is also in SFP. And this should be yellow. I don't know why this isn't yellow. All right. Can I get some music going? Can I take my hat off? Can I just... Gee whiz. I hopped on this thing and I'm like... not excited. I don't know why. Let's put on some ambient jungle. All right. Take the bag off. What do I have a bag on for? All righty. So some pretty cool reactions. We had these extension little signals in here. Oops. Here was this previous value area high. So that was in here. That was interesting. That should be yellow too. I don't know why that's not. So I really only mark on my chart what is, okay, this 5-minute order block, I don't even know what was going on in here. I really only leave on my chart what I saw in real time. I don't go back and readjust. Gee whiz, I don't even know what that was. This 15-minute order block was destroyed here. And now we have this 2-hour and 4-hour order block, which is actually really important. And it seems like, wow, this might be a trade right now, guys, like immediately. Return to value, Model 2, liquidity curve. Holy moly. All right, let's make sure this is on our, just took out our range POC that we marked out before. I don't exactly know where that's from. I don't know. I'm going to finish my TA before I go throwing myself into anything really. Because we do kind of have this somewhat of an accumulation here. I'm not surprised we're getting this movement at 8:30. I guess because we had this crazy liquidity curve. That's why we had this giant run up. Love a good cup of coffee. How could you go wrong? And then I really want to do some bookmap work today. But let's see if we have any OBIMs here that we're going to want to use. I'm kind of through using, what are these, 30, 60? 30, 40, 60? I'm kind of through using these 15-minuters. I feel like they're really, even like 1 hours aren't super important. I think I'm going to start marking, well, the 60-minute one worked pretty well. I think I'm going to start marking 1 hours and ups. I just put out the 5s and the 15s occasionally when I'm looking for them. Okay, now I don't even know where I am. Yeah, let's mark out this 60-minute. Maybe rather just large ones. I'm not really sure. I really need to refine my support and resistance method. Because OBIMs are good, but it's really not. I'm lacking a lot of skill in that department. And I'd much rather them be from an order book perspective. Maybe the order book could confirm the OBIMs or the order blocks. 1 hour, let's see, 1 hour and above. We had this 120 here, which was kind of too big. We had this 120 that got taken out, which you could say once we came back down here, we had the opportunity to go up again because we had supply fail. Same here, 120 and 180 minutes, so 2 and 3 hour demand blocks, which failed. Even though we came all the way up, maybe you can't really use that bit of information until we came back down to a similar level, but you could assume that demand would also fail, continue to fail, and then maybe come to this SFP. But guys, I mean, have you ever seen a redistribution pattern? It's a redistribution pattern if I've ever seen one. It really echoes the macro range we're in right now. It's really kind of like the same thing. We have a massive rundown from all-time highs, and then we make like a semi-significant low and never take it, and then make these like crappy higher lows all the way up. And it's just like an SFP nightmare where people are getting in tons of positions, it seems, from all of these SFPs. Like, look at how quickly price moves during all of these SFPs. Every one is just hit down. And it's kind of the same thing about, all right, let me turn this iLigma off. It's kind of the same thing here. It's like, look, we take an SFP, dunk, 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 dunk. All right, I don't know what it's with. I don't know what's with the automatopoeias, if I'm being honest, but so definitely looking for a distribution kind of thing going on. What's going on with this 2 hour? Yeah, I'd say that this is spent, but I will extend it over there because we never really broke it with a candle close. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I guess I'll try and bear some 15 minutes. Five, 15, 30, 15 worked pretty well. I'm sure this was a, yeah, I'm going to mark this out. But, you know, you got to give 15 minutes what it's worth, which recently has been not a lot. So, you got a 30-minute down here. I guess I'll kind of put multiple things in there because it's more recent. But no, that's all I see. That's really the only thing I see that's relatively important. You do have this structure, this internal structure. Where's this low? Right here. So if you start from this low, you have this bullishness, SFP. Yeah, so I mean, I said this in the beginning of the video, we really do have to keep in line with our overall order flow objective. And right now it's looking like we are trying to redistribute, right? And maybe instead of these 3 points, it's something more like this, and we tap that value area high we were talking about, which might make sense. Maybe before that we come down into this area and come back up. But one thing I really don't like about these kind of these RIMC areas as opposed to SFP areas here is that it's like, what does this area look like to you? Does this look like we have, here is a RIMC area. You have one brisk takeout of the all lows, a quick move up, but you still have all of this volume in here to use. Maybe a value area low, maybe a point of control you want to use, right? Whereas here, when you're coming down, you kind of like mess around. There's no perfect accumulation pattern. And then it leaves you with this kind of like liquidity curve here to be taken. So this is almost where I'd say maybe here you want to look for an SFP. So I'm going to educate both, but I think that is a worthy thing going on as well. So yeah, really we're looking at, you know, we should have been looking at this. And I know I'm putting them over here, but I'll just put them over here. And the target on this baby could actually be the low. So we'll see what we can do with that. We've got this thing in here. And maybe I'll just leave it as one trade instead of two. But we have that one, and then I think we also have this if we're talking macro setups today. I do want to look, and that would be another long one. I do want to look in here and see. I mean, I guess there's stuff to take. I'm not really sold on it. Look at this. It's a 15-minute up here. Let's remove that from our chart because that is useless. Another 15-minute. What is this? A 1 hour? Guys, what did I say before? The 1 hours just aren't really doing it. I'm not really interested. I'm just not really interested. That's kind of all I can say. It's like it's a 60-minute. Here's your 4 hour. This is the much more important level. It's like I want to take it off just so my chart is cleaner. And you know what? I can't, but I want to. Wow, there's going to be a lot for us to talk about CVD-wise. It looks like both Spot and Perps have pooped the bed. Just as a quick recap, and my volume is on, hopefully, thank gosh. And you're looking at the right screen, thank gosh. Okay, so we are looking at this internal, it's not really internal, but this upwards market structure here. Macro-wise, however, I am really looking for a resistance at this value area high. I think that's kind of the macro order book objective, order flow objective. Doesn't matter. I'm using. Traders love to use fancy wordplay, don't they? It's like order blocks. Order zone. Anyway. So, and we are starting to get maybe a distribution schematic in here somewhere. It's so weird. It's like I'm looking at the 4 hour chart right now, which is cool. But so I want to be really, really, really conscious of this, that we are in a distribution pattern. It's not necessarily necessary to come up to these areas. Maybe I just make this like super barely there. It's not really necessary for us to come up here, I don't think. You know, those are like some sexy highs to take, but it's not necessarily something we have to do. And if you look at these other SFPs we did, maybe these are better ones. Yeah, you know, we kind of did leave these, but it's hard to say. However, coming back up to them, did we have any like superb distribution pattern like we have now? Here we did, and that was before the SFP. Yeah, I really didn't. Look at all these lows too. Those are juicy. All right, anyway. So I'm really looking for a short here somehow. I'm ready to go down. Let's see what our trading time frame of the day is going to be like. Hopefully it's a 1 minute. Well, it's definitely not a 3 minute, that's for sure. Mm. 1 minute is leaves a little bit to be desired. I don't like this point. So I guess we're kind of just still kind of bullish. We're in bull land. How about a 30-second? I'm not going to like it either. Yep. It's going to be one of those days. One of those days. I'm not going to do a Trump impression yet, but so yeah, I mean, a minute is okay, I guess. It's going to be one of those days, though. So the trading is going to really revolve around value because the market structure might as well not be there. It isn't. So it's going to be a lot of internal market structure trading, and it's going to be a lot of value area trading. Likely a lot of unprotected stops, just for my systems, that is. But that's that. So I guess we're just going to have to deal with it. I'm interested to go over to the Monkey, which has added new time frames, by the way. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Oh. All right, so excuse me. So let's check the good old Monkey here. I can tell you right now, the CVD does not look good. Oh, let me check something real quick. I want to see what this guy I follow is saying. Newly created demand levels below, currently coming back to highs into supply. Yes, yes. Starting to look like a mini Model 2 locally. Yes, it is. I just said that. Oh, no, I didn't. All right, so we can look at that too. Yep. Yep. Sell wall at 9488. It's going to be a bit above us today. We'll check out some of that today. Hotspot. Yeah, all right. All right, a few new things have been brought to my attention that interest me. We'll go from the Monkey, and I think some of that's going to be included there. But this is why you guys shouldn't watch me, okay? I'm not like a guy to watch. I just do this for me, and I figured... Oh, excuse me. That was an unflattering yawn. I just figured I'd post them because why not? All right, so trade-wise, what are we looking at? I wish this order book profile worked a little better. Oh, so now you're going to do that? Yeah, so huge sell wall up here. We got 54, 52 million. Some with 21, 32, 13. So that's 94. Not that this really matters because I feel as though these are usually spoops, but 94800 would be all right, so those are stops. That's what those are. Those are stops. They are here. I can pull up a larger chart on here. I'm interested to see how long those have been on the books. We zoom out quite a bit here. Whoa, what's going on here, buddy? Ugh. Dude, you gotta be kidding me. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Market Monkey, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? Alright. Let's go. Come on. Alright. So... yeah, 94800. These are likely stops. It seems like they were there before. Kind of. There's a lot of interesting liquidity up there. But I would assume those are stops. That's what I would assume. So, yeah, I don't know how important those are to me. Other important areas, we'll check that out in Bookmap because I like their interface a little better. But on a grand CVD view, yeah, they look really similar. Are these even... Oh, because I'm on a new thing. Okay, let me do this. Because my selections are not saved. Why won't they aggregate? Oh, they just did it faster than I could see. I don't use the inverse pairs. I think those are kind of dumb. All right, so just to look at like a 1 hour, I kind of do want to see like a macro. Wow, so Spot has just been throwing their positions away. Perpetuals only briefly saw support at 85. And Spot has really only found support. Interesting divergence here with Spot. They really don't want to buy. I really wouldn't either. So they first started accumulating a little bit here and then sold it all and then started accumulating again in here. So, I mean, when are we going to sell it all again, right? When are we going to get rid of our bags? But we can go back down to a 5-minute. Spot is pretty much channel locked, so not much that I'm seeing there. Pretty much maintaining the same amount of positions since this little run up here. I'm just trying to make sense of what's what. All right, so since so Spot's really started buying around this SFP low between here, and they've pretty much maintained their position, but they've been pretty good buyers since we came down to this low. So good to note. Perpetuals, however, have been pretty much sellers. I mean, look at the difference. So I'd actually be more inclined to think that we have some more bullish momentum or underbacking, but I don't really like the look of this. I think this is probably well, it's 901, so it's not anything for me. This is when they make it like an obvious short, and then they just frickin' R-word you in every direction. All right. Well, we'll move on past this. Yeah, they're starting to get rid of some bags quickly. That's something to keep an eye on for the rest of the day. We are in the beta right now, so there should be tons of bugs. And I'm seeing them. I'm seeing them like really bad. Let's try and save this layout and see if that fixes it. But I want to go to my sessions. Okay, let's check out our monthly. Inside of value. Wow, was that today we came up and tapped the value area high. So the value area high is at what, 92,700? Huh. Okay. I can see us coming back into that. Weekly, a little lower. Previous week value area high is right above us at what is that, a 4-hour order block? So it's right in the middle of this. Nearly tapped it. 768. Let me draw that in. We'll make that yellow. I don't know, guys. I just feel low energy today. I hate that feeling. Weekly value area high. Previous week. Naked. And make it naked. Really not anything cool there. Daily. Kind of like this on a 15-minute rather than a 30. We'll do that. We'll save that. Yeah, not really. Open test drive. Moved our point of control higher. We were overlapping the higher. I want to know what happened at the end of that other day. I think it was over here. Wow, it was an inside day. And then it was another inside day on Saturday. And then an overlapping the higher day on Sunday. Very, very cool, guys. So we were looking at this, and this day originally was an overlapping to higher. We came down here, and we were looking here, and then we just ripped price up. And ultimately came right back down to the value area low. However, well, I guess from that, our value area was inside the previous day's value area. That's an inside day, which means really value was kind of consolidated into a smaller range. The buyers thought that value was higher. The sellers thought that value was lower than the previous day. And then that happened again on Saturday, which seems like the most unproductive day I've ever seen if we're talking value. So, same thing. I mean, look at that curve, though. Damn! Damn, look at this curve. Damn! Yeah, Sunday, same thing, but we did slightly push higher, which would give you a bullish pretense. I do have to say, though, it's interesting that we came down and touched these lows. Seemed like we needed that momentum to make some moves. Needed to stop those fools out. Very interesting that there is no anything down here. We have very much a bimodal distribution. Here's one. Let's see. I feel like it's so rare now we get a bimodal distribution. So yeah, we have one here, and what do we do the next day is we kind of come and fill it in. We have one here, and we kind of fill it in. Not really. It's like this one I can take, and merge left, and you see how we filled that in. How do I unmerge? Okay, this one we merged left, and we kind of just widened it. And like, did we ever fill that? Not really. So kind of can go both ways. I don't really see us filling a lot of low volume nodes. I was big into that for a second, but it's like this one really didn't do anything for this. But I need to stop talking as much and get ready to trade. So, yeah, we're inside of value. Not much to be said about that. Excuse me. We have these poor lows here, which is cool to note. We'll look at our sessions real quick. Oh, look at London. So, London is said to have a high probability of putting in the high or the low of the day. So we'll have to see if this is the high of the day, because this is definitely not the low of the day, I can tell you that. Asia, typical, doesn't do anything. This one's not. That was a good run. All right, does that matter? No. We did just fill this single print from Asian session right there, which could have been a cool long if I had seen it. London is very bottom heavy. I'm just gonna look at my notes and see what that means right now, guys. I have it right here. Oh, I can how do I do this? How do I do this, huh? Alt Control, what do I do? Add link, format. No. What do I do? Do I just start clicking buttons? Shift tab, Control tab. I don't know what that did. Alt Shift, Control Alt Tab. Okay, I don't even know what's going on here. Put that away. Darn it. I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I just gotta freaking look at it. Fair value, time frame, scalper, day trader, only in full, the time frame. Here, you guys want to look at my notes? Auctions, search for value. Here's what I was talking about: value area relationships. Pretty simple. Symmetry. I was really hoping for this to be easier to find. Looking back at these chapter titles, it's like such a boomer book. I love boomer books, guys. You gotta find a good old guy. Never be a laggard. Oh, what are you, laggard, huh? Oh, come on. Come on. I'm looking for P-shaped. This is some great info. Open drive, open test drive, open rejection reverse. Oh my gosh. Do I find? Oh, I do. Okay. A B-shaped pattern tells you two things. Sellers are liquidating long positions. Buyers are at least slightly more patient than sellers. Let's ruminate with that. Let's look at that let's think about that while we look at this curve, okay? This B shape here means that buyers are slightly more patient than sellers. So when a price comes up, sellers are very, very aggressive at selling the price down. When price comes down, buyers are very patient. They wait for that perfect low before bothering to get in maybe that single print, maybe this SFP, maybe this little order blocking here. Whereas sellers, oh my gosh, price is up, we have to sell it. So that's the difference. What can we use from that? What can we use from that? It'd be nice if we had a second test. Well, we kind of do. So sellers are very aggressive right now. London is not necessarily showing the value change yet, but it is showing in its in its TPO chart, in its distribution, or in its time distribution, that sellers are certainly more aggressive. Okay, so that's actually a huge point right there. Let's read a little bit more. I'm really not interested much. All initial upward rallies include a combinations of shorts covering, closing, getting rid of their position, and longs opening. For the rally to be sustained, new longs must overcome shorts covering, causing an elongated profile. Well, shorts covering or shorts closing their positions would be them longing. So why would longs need to overcome shorts to create an elongated profile, to create a significant move? If the rally is not sustained, it will form a P shape caused by shorts covering. No. Somebody just said it was bullish. I said to myself, I'm not convinced. If the rally is not sustained, it will form a P shape caused by shorts covering, rolling over longs opening. So a P shape should be aggressive buyers, patient sellers, short covering, shorts closing positions, causing buying. So consistent shorts means you have an eye, you just have a knife down. Lack of new shorts creates a B profile. That's an idea that I have to break down. So maybe let's look at this on a chart. Right here, there was no lack of longs. We made an I formation, okay? But when we came up to this P area, first off, the P area says that buyers were much more aggressive, at least in the beginning. And this is different between something that's more of an extension leg, different than an auction leg. So that's a cool thing to note. Because this is more of an auction leg. But So we have this I extension, buyers become very aggressive, drive price up to new value. Now let's say this is a P-shaped. That would mean that this is really hard, guys. This is something that's very hard to understand. If the rally is not sustained, it will form a P shape caused by shorts covering, selling their positions, over longs opening. So, yes, shorts covering, selling their positions. Okay, so okay, so longs covering, selling their positions, longs opening up, model 2. And that's that P shape. Consistent longs equals elongated I. Lack of new longs creates a B profile shape, which maybe you have as well. It's kind of hard. This is like a BP. Not super clear cut. This is B. Now here's where you have no lack of new shorts until you come to this bottom and you create kind of this B. This is like a BP again, where you have slightly more aggressive longs in here. Why? Because we spend fewer time in here when we're making a low, and we spend more time in here when we're making a high. Maybe that's not as clear cut as I'd like it to be, but I think something like that stands. Elongated profile. No, I would say that buyers are more aggressive here. Buyers are more passive here. They're waiting for a good price of value, whereas sellers are more passive, less aggressive. Even though their prices are more defined, they're not like aggressively pushing price down with nothing but purple candles. Notice here that when we make this low, buyers are pretty aggressive. It's hard to say. It's kind of both, because you have two distinct qualities here. You have the level at which you're investigating, whereas bulls on this side are allowing lower prices. They're not as ready to jump on the boat. However, when they do get in, they're producing very strong, impulsive moves. The sellers, on the other hand, are continuously making lower highs, but when they jump in, they're not necessarily, except for maybe this last one here, creating a large, impulsive move. Interesting. Interesting. This is value, guys. Value is sick. B, so sellers are much more aggressive. Buyers are more passive. Interesting. Came down to that SFP. Came back up. Checked the value area low. Came up. Interesting conversation. Very interesting. Did we have like a Model 1 kind of? Not really. Nothing in there. This was just like a blatant SFP, maybe a power of 3 if it was a bit more rangy, but not really. All right, so let's go back over to TradingView, because I want to visualize this market profile. So yeah, we found great support on daily value. Notice how it's been increasing, and now how we are pretty much overlapping to higher, which makes me a bit more bullish than that. We're higher on our session, overlapping to higher on our daily. Now we can go back here. Spot's pretty maintained. Spot is pretty maintained. So that's that. I'm excited to look back at this day. This is a hard one to pin. It looks like we are going to come up and hopefully retest this higher value area high. We have a lot of stuff going on in here. Mainly this SFP that is way too far. This RPOC, however, is something I want to keep around, and I'll put that just around price. This 15-minute order block is probably spent. It's probably not too much to use it for anymore. Let's see. Volume is kind of hard to distinguish here. I guess what you could say is you have, and this backs up the aggressive sellers, passive buyers approach. You have more volume on these highs. More volume, less volume, less volume. So you do have more passive buyers, and you have more aggressive sellers. I want to see, is that because of spot? Is that because spot is doing the buying and perpetuals are doing the selling? Let's see. Let's cut over here, actually. So, let's make this big. Who's doing what? So it seems like perpetuals are doing most of the selling, or a majority of the selling, but it's pretty thinly cut. It's like 60-40. Perpetuals over here are definitely doing more of the selling. I wish I could sync. What the hell? Huh. Anyway. I don't know. Really not much to determine. I mean, it's like we are ranging really hard. Sellers are more aggressive. I think we've kind of drilled that home. So if we see aggressive selling, that's something we can use. That's useful, important point. Let's look at book maps real quick. I do want to check out the order book distribution here on like a very macro perspective. Yeah, wow, tons of selling up at that 94,840 mark we were talking about. And really nothing in the book that even kind of, it's even kind of close to that. So, okay, that's a lot for my computer. So, what are we seeing here? A lot of sells, more sell limits, buy limits kind of coming in here, but more sell limits. Okay, now we have some buy limits coming in, sells kind of disappeared, buy limits, sells coming back, so it's really kind of like an auctioning area. No buys, really, no buys in here, and then we skyrocket. The order book really does dry up at like 8:30, and then it kind of slowly It's so weird. It's like from, look at this. It's like 8:30, 8:29:15 is the last one. 8:29. 8:29 to 8:43, 8:45. So weird. But then it comes back in. So what do we see here? A lot of selling, a lot of buying on the way down, a lot of selling. It's kind of, buyers have kind of evaporated here. A lot of transactions happen here. So this was a pretty giant sell wall that was pushed through. Very cool. What the hell is this stupid thing? No idea. Yeah, so can you see that? I can't even, there's no way I can see that. But buys are definitely overpowering sells. Huge wall here and just got obliterated. What is this? The VWAP? Get rid of that. Get that out. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. And my Market Monkey died. So we will just cut back to so we want to run this today, guys. Probably could. Sellers are pretty aggressive. You got to see that volume, though. It's hard to really say when you're going to see it. That's the problem. All right, well, now we're kind of just watching, waiting, looking for these highs. This value area would be a really good spot, but I don't really see the conviction in the book yet. Just broke a micro low. Now we're coming up, and this would be your short right here. Well, we'll watch Bookmap, shall we? False break. Or maybe it broke and then already reversed. Hard to say. All right, coming up into a sell wall, pretty big one. Maybe this is where you get that. I really just don't like the market structure today. $92390. Starting to see sellers come in. I'm waiting to see passive orders getting filled. we're spreading out. It's 9:30. Good to note. Good to note. So we are seeing sellers before we even get into this this large level up here. And, you know, this really just goes to show you how much better at visualizing prices Bookmap is than Market Monkey, because you can't have a bar chart. You have to have an infinitely zooming in chart. It's pretty cool. Like on this right now, even on a 1 minute. This is a 30 minute. What the hell am I doing? All right, wait a minute, Market Monkey. You might be able to redeem yourself. Yeah, it's just really not nearly as obvious because you can't zoom in as much. All right, the beta version is breaking a little bit. So we just did break structure on this micro. Maybe this is where you take your short. You know, 1%, please. Can I just like drag and drop, please? Don't you love when stuff works how you want it to work? All right, so we see a little Model 2 at the top. We see a little Model 2 at the bottom. What now? It's this sell wall we're really trying to get past, which is 92500. We see that. Wow, book just got a little bigger there. Went from 100 to 130. Kind of redistributing here. Oh, never mind. Wow. Did that just get destroyed? Did that just get destroyed or did it come back in? It just got totally what? I think it got taken off the books. It got taken off the books. Wow, look at the take profit here. Pretty big. Really nice structure here. Okay, so now we're back at that. What was this again? This was the range point of control extension. Range point of control and the extension naked high volume node, which seems we are blasting through. Very good to see. Wow, blasting. Okay, we just hit that, we just hit a pretty important level, actually. We just hit the, oh, not super important. Previous weekly value area high. Not anything I'm like super crying about, but It would also be the SFP of this level. So let's see what's going on here. We would ordinarily see very aggressive sellers here. And it seems like we're getting that. And I don't know exactly how you want to play this. Maybe a return to value, but value is pretty spread out. So maybe a return under the SFP would be kind of the best way to play it. Lot of spot and CVD buying on that. Or, I mean, a lot of spot and perpetual buying on that. Which I'm kind of surprised. Is this supposed to be like a significant break or something? We're getting some selling. We have this. We have some levels coming in here. I want to say I really don't see much. I really don't see much passive buying. So that's something to note. And we are doing a CVD divergence on both the spot and perpetuals. So that's something to note. And we're even doing the same thing here, but we do kind of have an SFP here. Tried to test lower value. Buyers came in. I don't know, guys. I'm just a tad bit lost today. I'm really not super locked in with price. Okay, we're gonna try and make a run for this 100 area, and CVD's really fallen. Let's see what it was like over here. So when we came up to this, I mean, same kind of thing. It was kind of dropping out. So that's interesting. Here it was higher. Here it was kind of dropping out. And then now we're coming up. We're getting that pick back. Broke above the level. A lot of buy volume here. On Market Monkey, the sell limit is still there, so I'm not sure what's going on with Bookmap, but only 9 million, but all right, what would I enter on? Model 2 would be great. That'd be fantastic. But Model 3 just the same, really. It does feel as though we're slowing down. It feels like there's a short in here. And would this be like a significant anything? I kind of have to check. Can't really tell. I don't know. This is just like a pretty quick run. This isn't really an important part in the market or anything. It's too soon to have like a significant Model 2 or Model 1 really. Maybe it's like an ultra wide one. Here, I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. It's like, does this really look good? Not really. Maybe it's one like this. But not really interested in the short here, I don't think. I don't see like a higher order flow objective that would make me want to try and get in and out of these positions. So 280, wow, 280 big level at 93,000 or 93,000. Really no passive buyers, a lot of passive sellers. You just kind of got to just figure out if it's takes or stop losses or enters. I mean, TPSLs are enters. But I think I'm going to call it, guys. I really can't give you much, so that's it. Catch you later. See ya.